Well, good morning. This morning we are going to install these new stabilizer jacks, and they're made by Ultra Fab Products Incorporated. And this particular kit is called the Ultra Powered Twin. Has twin motors on it. We're going to install it this morning. I looked at other stabilizer jacks with single motors and stuff on them like that, but I had a friend that had a set of two of them on a travel trailer, and he said they were not very strong. They were kind of shaky. So this particular kit is pretty heavy duty. 6,000 pounds of pressure you can put on them, but basically we just use them for stabilizers anyway. And this set is what I like about it. They're adjustable. They adjust in the middle. You can adjust them for the width of the frame, and they will fit a Class C motorhome or maybe even a larger motorhome that doesn't have any jacks on the back. And it's a lot easier than using those little bitty scissor crank jacks like which I have been doing. A lot of motorhomes already come with jacks on them, but a lot of them don't. And this particular model does not. So we added them on, and we're going to install them today. And here's a set of instructions. Come out like this, and we're going to go through that, and we're going to jump right in and show you how to stabilize them. If you have a hard time reading them, then you can do this. You can scan them on your computer and blow them up. That's what I did. It's going to make them a lot easier for me to read, especially for older people with older eyes like myself, and got to wear glasses to read them. This will make it a lot easier. Okay, let's jump right into it. We're going to go ahead and set them up and hook them up. And just to let you know, this is my first time installing these, first time ever seeing them in person. I'm really impressed with the kit. It looks heavy duty, well built. Oh, and by the way, they were shipped. I ordered them on a Sunday. They came next day air. They shipped them out on Monday. I received them on Tuesday. Who in the hell sends a big old box next day air? They did, and I sure appreciate it. There we go. Let's install. All right. We're ready for the install, and we've read all the instructions, and the instructions say to measure the frame underneath your whatever you're putting it on, and we're putting it on as Class C. And the measurements are on our frame is 42 3/4 inches wide. And then it says to put them together and put the bracket over and bolt them together. But we ran into a problem. All right, Clay, explain the problem. This is Clay, and he's going to explain the problem.
Well, these complete assemblies are 42 1/4.
One assembly is 42 1/4.
So we went underneath the camper and measured it, and it's exactly about 44. So it
42 3/4.
So it covers these end slots where you can put your bolt in without any modification. So we can do our 6 bolts here, and then we can put our bolt in the end and just have to.
So we're going to have to stagger them.
Yeah, we'll be about.
We're not going to bolt them together.
Together it would be 84 inches or whatever, 85 inches.
All right, well, this is what we're going to do. We cannot bolt them together as one piece because they're too long. But one of them will reach the frame on both sides. So we're going to bolt this one to the frame and the other side to the frame, and we're going to stagger them both underneath. They'll both be bolted up individually. Just like they are laying on the ground, that's how they're going to be under the camper. Because we will be able to put a bolt here in through the frame. So that's what we have to do. That's the only way it'll work. I'll tell you when we got 18 inches. There we go, like that. Can you see? I can't see it. What about 18, a little over 18 maybe?
To the bottom of the
18
frame.
and a half.
To the frame.
Yeah, good. 18 and a half?
Yeah, right there.
All right, there we go. Now we're going to slip it under the camper. All right, this is what we did. We have it bolted to the frame there, and the motor is going to go on there. There's one leg. And this one leg goes going all the way to the, here's the thing, it's going all the way to the other side, and it's bolted to the frame. That's one half. The one behind it is facing the opposite direction, and it goes there. I can't see it, but there it is back there. Shine a light on it. See it back there? Okay. There it is. And that's the only way we could do it. But it'll work fine. Good night. Okay, this is Clay, and you can see what he just came up with. He came up with the idea to take a 2-inch PVC, put some end caps on it, install the 2 switches, one for each stabilizer jack inside of it, and make a wiring harness for it, kind of like a overhead crane jack or like a winch on the front of a vehicle where they got a cord sticking out. And we're using it to, we're going to run it inside the lower compartment and wire it up to the jack, so we can just take it out the compartment and we won't have to bend over or anything. And it looks like it's going to work pretty good, so we're going to test it out in a few minutes as soon as we get it wired up. And stay tuned for that section in just a few minutes. What you got? Oh, he got it done.
2 switches up and down each side for each jack.
Oh yeah?
And then we compressed all the wires together inside, and then we taped a nice little cover for it. And this will be inside the camper, and we'll be operating from outside. Up and up, separate controls, left and right.
All right, we just got through wiring up the Class C to the new jacks, and this is our new setup, and we haven't tried it yet. And Clay Randolph is going to give it the test, and he's smiling. Let's see. That goes up. Go.
Slide the plywood over.
Did the other one work?
Okay, yeah. Nope. It's coming down.
Which one? The other one?
Yeah, look. The whole camper's coming down.
Oh. Alrighty, let's slip the plywood underneath. Looks like it's working.
On it and see what goes.
Okay, here's the test. Let's test it out.
We're gonna put them down and see what kind of
All right, go ahead.
endurance they have here.
All right,
That's good.
try that other one. There we are.
No.
Excellent.
Plenty.
We just got through installing the Ultra Fab 2 powered stabilizer jacks. These have the 22-inch legs, and it's on our Winnebago. This is a Class C motorhome. There's a word of caution before you do purchase them and install them. You need to see if they're going to fit. I'm going to give you the dimensions that you're going to need to be able to install them. Because we did run into some problems, we were able to modify and make it work, but you need to know this. Each jack is individual, and they're basically designed to bolt to each other and form one stabilizer jack leg. But for a Class C and motorhomes, the frames are only 44 inches wide, I believe. I forgot the exact measurement, but it actually came out to be the exact length of 1/2 of the stabilizer jacks. So we were still able to mount them, but not as planned. We had mounted them separate individually. We took one jack, bolted it to one side of the frame, and bolted it to the other side. We took the other jack, we turned it around the opposite direction, bolted to the frame here, and bolted it to the other frame. So they were opposite but not connected, and it moved them apart from each other. And the problem is, you got a lot of room inside the frame, but outside the frame, you have water tanks, compartments, and things like that. The number you need to know is after you do this, it has to be 11.5 inches room from one jack's motor outside of that motor to the other jack outside of that motor. So 11.5 inches you need to have. Now, when you put the jacks underneath and you're doing a test fit, you want to have the motors on them to see if what you get problems you're going to run into. We installed them without having the motors on, then came back and installed the motors, and that's when we found out that the motors stuck out on the outside of the frame, and one of them hit the sewage pipe on the other side. We were able to loosen up the pipe itself and the brackets and get the space we needed, which was only 1/4 of an inch on these. This side of the camper, we needed about 1 inch, and that's because one of the bolts in the motor, we couldn't get it in there. So we had to notch out a piece of the lower compartment, and then we're gonna go from the inside and seal it. Now, I'm gonna take you underneath and show you all that. And also I'm going to explain the wiring, what we did for the wiring too. The wiring is fairly simple. The wiring harness basically consists of 4 wires. You got 2 switches with 4 wires coming out of each one. Each motor has 2 wires, a red and a black. The switch 4 wires is a red, a black, a white, and a green. The red and the black from the switch go to the motor. They are matched, so you just connect those 2 to the motor. The other 2 go to the 12-volt house batteries. If you're on a Class C like us, you connect them from there. Well, we did have to purchase 30 feet of wire. The wire we had to get by 10-gauge wire and connect it from here. When you open this door in my steps, that's where my house batteries are, in the steps. So we had to run that wire all the way to the back of the camper. So that is one thing you're gonna have to purchase is 10-gauge wire, at least 30 foot. And this is a 32-foot camper. And that's all for the wiring, that's all there is. So it was very simple. Now, we did end up making our own remote switch for the wiring harness. My friend Clay came up with the idea that we're going to put the switches into a PVC pipe, and I could just stick them out of the compartment because my compartments were very low to the ground. You can see way back there, and that's where the switches were going to come out. So anyway, we made like a little extension where we can stand outside and we can just hold this thing and lower it, and it works really good for me. Also, another option, if you wanted to make them remote control, I noticed on Amazon you can buy relay switches that you can put in line with your wiring. It would take a lot more wiring to do this and have just a remote switch for each one. I did see a 30 amp dual, which has, and you need to have one that does have a forward and reverse. And it was a dual forward and reverse switch. Now I also did find a 40 amp switch, but the 40 amp is only a single. You would have to buy 2 of the 40 amp switches if you wanted the 40 amp, and those were like $75 a piece. The 30 amp probably would be enough, and it is enough to do two switches, so you can run both on it. If you wanted to make a remote control, and just use the remote button. But this way was the cheapest, it was the easiest, and we got it all done, and I like it. So we're gonna crawl underneath the back. I'm gonna let you take a look and show you how we did it and what problems we ran into. All right, here we go. What we did was, in this back compartment down here is where I put my switches, and I added them to this thing right here, which we made where we can stand out here and we can actually operate the switch. This operates the one on the other side. Forward is up, back is down. This is for the jack on this side, and this forward and back is the same as the other side. So I gotta make something better to hold it, but for right now, that's it. Now we're gonna crawl underneath it, slide underneath there, and show you what we did, what kind of problem, and how it works. It actually came out really well. Put this lamp on. There you can see the motor on this side. And there's actually a little indentation into the tank. We had to cut a hole in the tank because the top bolt would not fit right there. And we're gonna seal it up from the inside. And that's this jack here. Now when you're putting your jacks on, you have the option here. They got several holes. Let's see. They have 2 holes here, 2 holes there, smaller 3/8 bolts that you can drill. And also they have one big 1/2-inch hole in the middle. And that is your option. It comes with the smaller bolts. If you want to drill those, and you can probably drill them with a regular 3/8 drill. We decided to go with the 1/2-inch bolts. If you decided to do 1/2-inch bolts instead of the small ones, you will need a 1/2-inch drill. I doubt if you're going to get through with just a 3/8 drill. And the 1/2-inch drill was very heavy holding it up. So once we had to drill up here, we actually had to slip a board underneath the bottom of the drill and have someone lift up on the board to put pressure to be able to drill through it. On this back section, we're actually drilling through part of the frame. This is an extension. The frame was extended from the front, and as at one point the frame overlaps the other one. So this is the leg on this side. It's not all the way tight. You just gotta raise it up a little bit and it'll go up. Now this one right here, as you see, it goes all the way to the other side. Camper. Here we're gonna slide over there, and it reaches the frame all the way to the outside. There it is, and it's bolted up right here. And it fit perfect. Just like that. Now we're gonna look at slide over to the other one, which is facing the opposite direction. Here's the motor, and it's right up against the sewer pipe. As you can see, they're actually touching. And whoops, a little slippery there on the holding that one-handed cameraman. All right, now here's the wires going up and going across to the other side. And you can see right here, it's just a red and a black wire. Now I'm gonna have to seal this up right here with some silicone to keep any water out from it. And this one goes all the way across to the other side. Now, from the outside of this motor right here, let me put this light down. From the other side of this motor to where this frame is right here, to this side, that's where the motor from the other side is. You need 11.5 inches from here to the other side of this motor. So if you're going to purchase them, you need this really nice jack. You need to make sure. Now this side we have a lot of room. There's nothing right here in this area, just this sewer line. So we didn't modify the sewer line. But on the other side, we only had one spot to put it in. And we're gonna go back over there. A little shaky, sorry about that. The only place I had to put it, let me back out. Oh, yeah, please excuse the vibration there, but we're sliding on our back. If you look up in here, freshwater tank, back compartment. Now, that is the only place we had on this side. So you have to check your camper first. So even if I would have put the motor 1 inch further to the back, I'd have still been hitting the plumbing on the other side. So from this side here, you need 11.5 inches this way for the other motor. That's the most important number. Once you get that done, then you're all ready to go. Now these jacks, the way they work is, when you're putting them down, at first, they go really fast because the way it's designed, and as it gets close to the ground, it gets in a more steep angle, and it starts getting steeper and steeper, and it starts going slower and slower and slower. So let's go ahead and put them down now. I'm gonna take it up, I'm gonna get down under here where you can actually see them. All right, we're gonna use the controller. There we go. Now let's see the jacks come down. Now I only got one hand here. There's one on the other side. I can only operate one at a time. But when you have two hands, you can operate both of them at the same time. I'm only doing this with one at a time because I'm holding my camera with one hand and holding the button with the other. It will not stop. You gotta make it stop. It can hold the line. There we go with the other one. You see how it's going pretty fast at first? They go pretty fast. And when they get to the bottom, they start slowing down. It will keep on going. It won't stop. Might even left the wheels off the ground. I don't know. But we're gonna stop right there. Pick some of the pressure off. It's coming back down. We're gonna stop right there. Okay. I hope this helps. Good luck with your project.